Hey guys, it's Kitten, and today's video is gonna be a little heavy. When I say heavy, I mean like kind of emotional heavy. You may not even find this like super sad, but I was kind of inspired to tell my story because I watched Penny's newest video. I don't know when this is gonna go up, but Penny's like recent video of where she talks about her high school years, and I've never actually known someone who had a high school experience that bad, like getting physically hurt, like blood everywhere type of thing. And that kind of I know my story is not as bad as hers, but it has its own degree of badness because I was and still am affected by it. Mine didn't start in high school. My story is in elementary school when we were all much younger. And honestly, I'm being honest, if the same situation was in middle school or high school, it probably would have escalated to physical abuse. Maybe, but since we were all young, it didn't, physical abuse, didn't seem right to us because we were all, 10. Everything was great. I think I was actually kind of popular when I was younger, but once I hit 3rd grade, I got held back. And because I was held back, I lost all my friends. They were still in the same school, but no one really hung out with me. So I was alone, I lost all my friends. This is the year I kind of started puberty. So I was just I don't remember being self-conscious about it. I think I remember being kind of fine with it. Pretty much after I got held back, I went back into 3rd grade. And referring to pictures, back then I looked completely different. I got braces, I got glasses, I gained weight, I started puberty, all that shit. And I look completely different than I did the year before. For one, I physically looked kind of awkward, and also still short, by the way. I was the tiniest kid, still am. I was just awkward. I looked awkward, I felt awkward, and I guess it just related to everyone else. And since I was alone, I kind of just kept to myself. And that's when depression and anxiety kind of started to develop, strongly develop inside me. And Care, the girl you saw in the painting adventures video, she has been through everything with me. She wasn't there for the 2 years I was alone, but she was there for 5th grade, which kind of woke me up from this isolation that I was going through. I remember specifically not getting verbally abused, not even physically abused. I was just that kid everyone avoided. No one spoke to me. No one wanted to talk to me. So I didn't know how other people, other kids felt about me. I just knew I was just that outcast that no one seemed to care about. And that hit hard for me. That's why I have such a hard issue about being alone. Even now, not physically alone, but alone in my life. With no one to lean on, no one to talk to. I've always been afraid of that because of those 2 years. Because I was alone those 2 years. Complete isolation. No one wanted to speak to me ever. It was hard. It was fucking hard. I've always been shy. I don't like talking to people. So that affected my social life even more because I was so shy, and I became even more shy once everyone was gone. So I didn't talk to anyone. So I remember always going to the same tree at recess and lunch and just staying there. Not interacting with anyone. And I remember specifically, it got to the point where I was talking to the tree because it was the only thing in my life that I interacted with at school. So I ended up, this is where Care finds me, where I am at that point where I am talking to the fucking tree and whispering to it and shit. And I remember Care, like later, many years later, she kind of mentioned, yeah, I was kind of afraid you'd kill me. Yeah, like I was that bad. Like I was that far gone. That fucking scares me that I was that bad. Thank fucking God she appeared. I didn't actually find out what people did that was kind of bullying toward me, but it wasn't the type of bullying that's like outright like in your face, bitch, blah blah blah. It was that kind of like behind your back kind of shit where like once I left an area or a room, everyone would start talking. Like everyone was like start talking shit about me. And I didn't know that because I wasn't around when people did that, obviously, so I didn't know. So I was just, since everyone was talking shit about me, no one liked me. So that's why I had the isolation. There's a few occasions where I like didn't have complete isolation. That is kind of a little of an exaggeration. I did interact with some kids. Like I remember this one girl, Mindy, we did play a little bit, like our elementary playing. We did interact with each other. We did play, like we had fun. But like I remember it didn't last very long. And then there was one particular girl that did kind of outright hate me, and she did verbalize it, but she didn't bully me. She was Indian? No? She was Asian. She was Asian descent, I know that. It was just weird because I remember in elementary school her name was Sari, S-A-R-I. But when she went to middle school, she started being called Emily, and I'm just like, what the fuck? I don't remember why she was mad at me, but I remember a specific memory where I was at my tree hanging out, there was some angry interaction between us, and she kind of started like angrily walking toward me, and she like stopped, and I was just like next to my tree like, what the fuck does she want? And like I think I remember I was expecting this. She started like angrily yelling at me, and the first thing that I say that pops out of my mouth, I don't know why, but I was an angry child, and I pretty much said, if you want to punch me, go ahead, punch me. Give it your best shot. And I, like, after I said it, I was just like, why did I say that? Oh well, play it cool. After I said that, she just kind of glared at me, and I could tell that she wanted to. She's one of those girls that's kind of too prissy and proper. But yeah, that was kind of like my only abusive, like, memory, really. Like, verbally kind of to my face, kind of bullying. I didn't know how anyone felt about me. So like I found out later how I was like felt about because Kara told me. And also I think I specifically asked. After we like started interacting with each other and she started like having more affection for me and I had more affection for her, she specifically said to me a memory she had where that I remember she told me we were eating lunch, I think, and like we were together eating, blah blah blah, but I think I remember her saying I had to like go somewhere or I wanted to like leave early, but she was still eating. So I was just like, okay, I'm gonna meet you at our usual little spot and shit. I go, so I'm not there. But once I leave, two girls that were like in the area still eating started talking shit about me. I think Kara said like a few of the comments was like, God, she's so weird, blah blah blah. And Kara, since she was growing more affectionate to me, she like, I think she said she straight up just walked over to them and like started like talking shit to them. Like, how fucking dare you talk about her that way and shit like that. I'm just like, oh, I can't, you love me. And then like there was a few occasions where this bitch named Sam decided try to befriend Kara. I didn't know what was happening for them. So to me, it just seemed like Kara was like betraying me, and it was at that time where we were very like affectionate toward each other. And I was just like, no, don't leave me. Cause like I was still very sensitive about like being alone. And I typed up a letter. I still have it saved on my computer. I was very polite. It was kind of funny. I literally typed up a letter and like put it in, like in Kara's desk for her, saying like something about like, please become friends with me, blah, blah, blah. She did come back. She's like the day after, like the next day, she's just like, hey, I'm back. And I'm just like, yes, friends. She didn't tell me why she left though. Later, like actually a year or two ago, she explained that the only reason she left was because Sam was trying to get her away from me because she thought I was too weird for Care. And I'm just like, what the fuck? And Care knew this. She was pretty much like, fuck you guys, I'm gonna hang with like the girl I actually like hanging out with, which is me. There was that, like, this is all during elementary school, just so you know. I think there was like a few times where people were trying to take her away from me because they thought I was too weird for her. She always came back. She knew that like those like kids were full of shit. The only bad thing about the 2 years I was alone is because I was alone. Liked to interact with me. Like I remember specifically Kara saying like one time that a bunch of girls were talking about like they hated being in group projects with me because I was so weird and silent when I was just like super anxious and shy. And I'm just like, what should I talk about? I don't know what to say. I don't know words. Shit. I have to interact with people. I always wore this like really big zipper hoodie type of jacket. And it was like, since I was tiny, the jackets were always way too big for me, but I was cool with it. The sleeves were always long. And I had this habit since I was so anxious and I had a lot of anxiety, I would always chew on the sleeve of the jacket. And I ruined a bunch of jackets that way, just so you know. Like that was my way of dealing with it, like dealing with anxiety. And I would always cover my face with the sleeves. I would, like, with me, the jacket was like a security blanket. Like I could hide myself in the jacket, hide my face with the sleeves. It was my way of coping. And that's probably one of the reasons why people were so like, that girl's weird because she's chewing on her jacket and covering her face with her jacket. I get why people were just kind of like weirded out by me because no one knew it was my way of coping with my shyness and like getting super anxious when I had to interact with other people, like with group projects and stuff. I would do that constantly when I was in group projects because I didn't know what to say. I didn't know these girls or boys. It was just like, oh, especially boys. Like if I was in a group with like nothing but boys or boys were the majority of the group, I'd be like silent, dead fucking silent. I don't know how to interact with boys. Girls, I kind of know how, but boys are like, fuck no. It like everyone thought that was weird because everyone was social and everyone talked and no one was shy about anything and no one had anxiety, no one had depression, no one thought about killing themselves. I was at that point where I thought about killing myself because I was so alone those 2 years that I was just like, what's the point? Honestly. And like that was also the point where my family wasn't, they were supportive, they were my family, but like I still, since I was in that hormonal, like going through puberty stage, like that angsty teen type of thing, my family always yelled at me, so I was just like, fuck life. And I thought about it all the time, and I remember specifically like thinking I wanted to run away from this house every single fucking day. And so being alone at school and then like the kind of, I guess, emotional abuse I thought I was getting from like home, like if you add those two together, I can see why I was such a mess. And I can see why like I was thinking about a suicide. And it's even more depressing when you realize I was only 10 or 11 years old when I was thinking about suicide. That is to me nowadays is what fucking gets to me the most, is that I was so young. A young girl, young boy, someone that young should not be going through something like that. that's gonna stay with them for the rest of their life. And it has. It has stayed with me for the rest of my life. I have coped with it, but it's still there. If this was too heavy for you, I'm really sorry. But I'm just trying to be real with you guys. It was bad. It was really bad. So just remember, no matter what's happening to you, you will find a way through it. I know you guys will probably think about very bad things like suicide, but just remember, it's not worth it. It's not your time to go. It's not your time, and that will get you through it, trust me. What got me through it was just hope. Hope that it will get better. And it did. Like, I'm very grateful for where I am in life right now. And if I took my life when I was 11 or 10, I don't remember how old I was, I wouldn't be here making videos for you guys. And that is a very deep thing. And I don't know why I'm crying suddenly, but it means a lot. And I wouldn't be here making videos. It really does mean a lot. Just to punch through it and get to a place that you are happy. I'm not happy yet, but I'm getting there, and I will get there. From the bottom of my heart, I hope you guys don't make drastic decisions because it's not worth it. Trust me, it's not. And I hope you guys find that in yourself not to do things. And okay, 1 second. Okay, I'm better. I am, like, obviously, I'm very serious about that. Please do not make drastic decisions. You will regret it. Even in death, you will regret that shit. It's not worth it. I really hope that you find the courage, like I did, to just get through it. And you will. Like, the smallest thing, like hope or a friend, will make you have the courage. It did for me, it will for you. And I make that as a promise. I love you guys, I really do. Whoever is watching this. Like, for those of you that haven't gone through this, like, be lucky that you haven't. And those of you who are, just punch through it. You can do that. Anyway, I should probably stop ranting and crying and stuff like that. So, anyway, on a happy note, I'm gonna do stuff. I don't know. Today is my relaxing day, so yeah. I love you guys. Do not do anything that you know you'll regret. It's not worth it. And bye-bye, guys. Love you. Love. Feel it. I'm massaging your face. How does it feel? Good? Good. Bye.